Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for joining us today on a very important webinar, Tunisia as the UK nearshoring partner for professional clothing. I'd like to particularly welcome our fantastic panel from Tunisia. We also like to welcome the ambassador of the UK and the ambassador of Tunisia, the president of FIFA and the vice president. Later on, my colleague Colin McCullen will be introducing them in more detail. But for now, I'd just like to take the opportunity just to thank everyone who's joining us today. I'm also grateful for the wonderful support that we have from our members of the association, which is the PCIAW, Hunter Apparel, Simon Hunter, and Gerber Technology. So both of you guys, I really do appreciate it. What you're joining us today. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank our chairman, John Mill, who's listening on our call today. And without him, all this would not be possible. Just a little bit about why we're here today. We'll come and say that in far more details with my colleague, Declan. But for now, I just want to give you a quick overview of our market. The UK market, valued at 8.6 billion according to PIMSL analysts, and employed over 44,000 people. With the, we've seen through the pandemic last year, the turmoil that we had. So putting this webinar and inviting Tunisia as a nearshoring partner is critical to our economy, I feel, and I feel that everyone here today has got something to offer our industry. We must not forget that partnership and working together is an essential for everyone for progress. What happened last year in terms of the pandemic and not receiving PP or able to get hold of stock cannot happen again. This pandemic is far from over, and we just want to make sure that we have a go-to area. And this is why we've put together this partnership with Tunisia and the support of the government to go forward. I'd like to take the opportunity just to introduce a little bit about PCIAW and bring in our editor, Declan Osborne. Declan.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're here today after OCO Global approached PCIAW as the association who represents the professional clothing industry here in the UK, but also across the entire world. Our CEO, Yvette Ashby, who just spoke then, understands from experience that Tunisia's textile industry is rich in talent and with an established infrastructure network, which we believe can meet the needs of the UK professional clothing businesses. We are here to help Tunisian textile manufacturers become reliable, long-term partners closer to home with our trusted members, and we hope you will all join us. With the pandemic and Brexit disrupting our industry, this webinar about nearshoring textile manufacturing to Tunisia comes at the perfect time to offer potential solutions when the UK businesses reflect upon and organise their operations to mitigate against challenges and pursue new opportunities. So the PCIAW works with businesses across the professional clothing supply chain, from the fabric and fibre producers, the embroiderers, the end product manufacturers, the distributors, and also the buyers. So the PCIAW represents and provides a voice to the professional clothing industry within workwear, corporate wear, PPE, digital solutions and accessory sectors. We help to bring people and businesses together for mutually beneficial partnerships, just like we're doing today. So OCO Global will also be speaking at the PCIAW Summit Awards 2021, presenting the BuyTunisia Textiles project to the global professional clothing industry to garner further opportunity and recognition from the Tunisian textile companies. The PCIAW Summit Awards an unmissable networking opportunity with a unique chance to get in the same room as everyone you want to do business with. Sponsored by our partners Milliken & Company, Investicadora brand, and our Portuguese partners at Anivec, on the 2nd and 3rd of November 2021, industry leaders will come together for the most anticipated and informative exhibition and awards event. For the professional clothing companies in Tunisia, the UK, Europe, and the rest of the world, the prestigious PCIAW Awards celebrates the achievements of individuals, businesses, and innovative products and services. Applications for the awards are open and you can apply online. So we're a member-driven association, and we're for the professional clothing industry, and we aim to put buyers in touch with suppliers. So if you're a buyer in the professional clothing industry, you can join as a member for free and access a network of reliable and vetted suppliers who you can trust. Or if you're a manufacturer or supplier, you can join the PCIAW and access our extensive tender directories and ask our help in sourcing the right materials. We will help you get contact with the right businesses and buyers for you. This webinar promoting professional clothing companies to partner with Tunisian textile manufacturers opens the door for PCIAW to work closer than ever before with Tunisian companies to help develop their individual businesses and the wider Tunisian textile industry as a whole. So the PCIAW is a place to put aside competitive obstacles between businesses and facilitate cooperation for the benefit of our industry. Today we are joined by two of our members, Simon Hunter from Hunter Apparel, who is also a founding board director of PCIAW, along with Richard Jessup and Francisco Aguilar from Gerber Technology, and I'd like to thank you both all for supporting this effort. So the pandemic has highlighted the issues facing the professional clothing supply chain in times of uncertainty and disruption. As we saw, as Yvette mentioned, the UK's NHS experiencing shortfalls in supply of critical life-saving PPE. By the UK partnering with Tunisia for nearshoring manufacturing, professional clothing companies can benefit with increased resiliency in supply chains whilst reducing its carbon footprint and limiting shipping costs. So the air miles calculator measures London to Tunisia at just over 1,100 miles one way, with just 2 hours flight duration and 1 hour time difference. So a lot of UK businesses at the moment manufacture in China, which is over 5,000 miles away, just one way, with over 10 hours flight duration and 8 hours difference. So the sustainable environmental benefits of nearshoring to Tunisia is clear. So I'd also like to take this chance to thank everyone involved in making this webinar a success, particularly the Tunisian dignitaries, the ambassadors, and our listeners.
Declan, please speak slower, please. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So please get in contact with us. We'll be happy to help with everyone that we can to make this webinar and long-term partnership a success. So now I think we want to go to Simon Hunter from Hunter Apparel.
Thank you, Declan. Thank you. Can everyone remember that we are translating, our translators are online and trying to keep up with us all. So if we can speak a little slower, that would be great. Also for the audience, we will have to keep repeating that we have translators as well, just to make sure, because as I can see, sitting here, I can see that participants are joining us as we go along. So we do need to repeat that. Thank you very much, Declan. We'd like to introduce Simon Hunter, MBs, and also CEO for Hunter Apparel. Simon will give you an overview of our manufacturing here in the UK and also talk about the success that we can have working with the Tunisian. Simon, thank you. You're on mute, my love. You're on mute. Thank you.
Apologies. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, Declan, for the introduction. My name is Simon Hunter. I'm the CEO of Hunter Apparel Solutions. We are a UK registered company based in Northern Ireland. We are best described as a technology-led managed service provider. So in the UK, we define this as a one-stop shop for corporate uniform and PPE clients, such that we provide a head-to-toe solution in a web-based environment, providing all of the functionality for ordering, returns, reporting, etc. As a company, we have our own manufacturing in Northern Ireland, and the bulk of our production is overseas. So we produce goods in many different countries. Typically, because we have a very diverse portfolio of products and quite a diverse portfolio of clients, that requires lots of different countries of origin and lots of different types of production. I think that when we are looking at offshoring, it's fair to say that at the start of my career, principally we were looking for quality. It was all about where could we get the right level of quality that was equivalent to our UK manufactured product, and those days are clearly long gone, in the sense that quality is assumed to be excellent as a baseline. There isn't really a market for anything other than excellent quality in the UK. So that's not really a differentiating factor for manufacturers who supply from offshore. Competitive costs, of course, that is one of the things that we or any company looks for offshore. But again, I would say competitive costs in the UK, it's a very competitive marketplace. That is almost also a given. It is taken for granted that we will have good quality and competitive costs. So increasingly, the ways that offshore manufacturers are differentiating themselves with respect to a sensitized approach to what the UK market requires, it's really all around service. We ourselves, Hunter, are quite a typical UK company, very, very customer service focused. Agility, flexibility, these are the kind of things that our customers require of us. And therefore, when we are offshoring, when we are looking for offshore manufacturing partners, this is a really critical part of what we're looking for. So I think Tunisia has a natural advantage with its relative proximity, with having a pretty mature industry in terms of clothing and textiles. And I suppose what I am keen to see today is what is the understanding of how flexible Tunisian manufacturers have, such that it would be suitable and have synergy within the UK. So when I say flexibility, what I'm talking about is our customers have an insatiable appetite for faster production. They have an insatiable appetite for lower minimum quantities. They have an insatiable appetite for diversity of product and innovation. So therefore, when I started my career 25 years ago, if I wanted to buy, suiting, or I wanted to buy shirts, typically you went to a menswear producer for suits, a menswear producer for shirts, and then a women's wear producer for suits, and a women's wear producer for blouses. Really, that doesn't work anymore. We as a country, need the flexibility of being able to buy all of the suiting from a menswear and women's wear producer as one, the shirts and the blouses from one factory, etc. So having that kind of flexibility is important. Having the ability and the willingness, let's say, to provide a stock back service such that raw materials are in place, fabric is in place, trims are in place, such that when you receive an order from the UK manufacturing company, that you can swiftly go into production and you're not having to start from a cold start, ordering fabric, ordering trim, etc. That would be very, very important, I would say. And I think with those type of things addressed by Tunisian manufacturers, you'll be able to have the baseline to start providing the kind of levels of flexibility and service and speed of response that the UK has a huge hunger for. So that is one of the things I would hope that perhaps some of you would think about and maybe address in today's conference call. I think there is an appetite in the UK to resource, I think, a lot of product that would have been previously sourced in China. I think that there is an appetite for that. There has been, the COVID period has shown us some of the challenges in regard to sourcing from China, and I think Tunisian labor costs and speed of response give a really good substitute in that respect. So that's a great strength I think you have. It would be interesting to hear your own thoughts in that regard. And conscious of my timing, Declan, have I any minutes left?
I think at the moment we're going on to Adam next, but I think you seem to have summarised quite well what we're expecting from the Tunisians.
Yeah.
And it'd be important to address that so that we can work together in a long-term partnership.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully that's sort of a high-level overview anyway.
Thank you, Simon. I'm sure there'll be plenty of questions for you later on. Adam, are you there? Excellent. Good morning, Adam, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I call on you at the last minute. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Adam Mansell. He's the CEO for the UKFT. We've had, during our promotion of this event, many questions relating to origin and Brexit. Later on, Adam will be, in the question time, will be answering many of those questions that you've all sent through to us, and we're grateful for them. So, but what I want Adam to do at the moment is just give a quick overview and his understanding of where we are at the moment in manufacturing and trying to pull together this nearshoring opportunity. We've had many sort of talks and webinars already about manufacturing in the UK. We've seen a huge demand for this already. So he will bring some clarity to all of us at the moment. Adam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Yvette. It's a big ask to bring clarity to an issue as complex as Brexit and nearshoring of manufacturing. I'll very briefly, I mean, the opportunities for nearshoring are significant. I think whilst Brexit has made life even harder than it was before in terms of sourcing requirements, it does present opportunities. There are opportunities for UK manufacturing, but there are also significant opportunities for nearshore manufacturing, and Tunisia is obviously one of the key beneficiaries, potential beneficiaries of that increase in nearshore manufacturing. As Declan said at the beginning, it's a very close market. It has a fantastic skill base and some amazing manufacturers in Tunisia. I won't dwell too much on the nearshoring issue for now. I think what's currently going on in the industry with regards to Brexit in general is a very rapid coming to terms with the difficulties of what the detail of the Brexit trade deal mean. Unfortunately, the realities of the Brexit deal are that there is not a frictionless border between the UK and Europe, never mind between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And also it means that a very significant proportion of our trade with Europe, both imports and exports, are subject to duty. The rules of origin, which I'll touch on in a minute in regards to the Tunisia Association Agreement, are exceptionally important. And to give you an idea about the complexities of Brexit, if you make a pair of trousers in the UK out of Indian fabric and sell them to France, there will be duty payable on that pair of trousers of 12%. So it really is very, very important to understand rules of origin, and that applies equally to the association agreement with Tunisia. The association agreement with Tunisia was one of the first agreements that the UK government signed. It is in many ways a replication of the agreement between the EU and Tunisia. And in fact, the legal document, if anybody wants to read it, I suggest they don't, because it's not the easiest read in the world. The legal documentation of the association agreement literally goes through the existing EU-Tunisia association agreement and just says, where it says EU, it should now say the UK and things like that. So it's not the most easy of reads. Headline stuff, because I think it's more important that you hear from others rather than me, and I think I'll probably be more useful in the question and answer session. Trade between the UK and Tunisia in both directions is tariff-free as long as that product meets the rules of origin requirements. Rules of origin requirements are, on one hand, fairly straightforward, on the other hand, quite complex. The most simplistic way of approaching the rules of origin are that if product is made in Tunisia or product is made in the UK, then it can travel duty-free between those two markets. There is then something called bilateral cumulation, and then there's something else called diagonal cumulation. Bilateral cumulation very simply means that if, for instance, you are making a suit in Tunisia and you're using European fabric, that European fabric can count as Tunisian origin fabric when it comes to calculating whether there's a tariff due or not when you sell it to the UK. So again, very simplistic terms, if you are making a suit in Tunisia using Italian fabric, then it can come into the UK duty-free. So far, so fairly straightforward. Where it gets a bit more complicated, and I know there's been a lot of questions about this already, is around diagonal cumulation. Diagonal cumulation, again, in its most simplistic terms, is if the UK has a free trade deal with the EU and Tunisia has a free trade deal with the EU, can we all use each other's rules of origin to complete that circle? And the answer to that currently is yes, but no. Nice clear answer for you there, yes, but no, all at once. So the wording of the agreement says that whilst we can use European fabric, for instance, in the example I just used, so I'll just go back to that example I used. So you can use Italian fabric, get the suits made up in Tunisia, send those suits to the UK, that's all duty free. If you then, as let's say Hunter Apparel, sell those suits to a client in France, there is duty payable on that transaction between Hunter Apparel and their client in France. So it is incredibly important to understand the trade flows and the rules of origin that will apply to different parts of that trade flow before you place your orders. So it's very important to understand the intricacies of rules of origin. One of the other big things that the association agreement does do is allow transshipments. So basically what that means is that you can move product from Tunisia to the UK through the EU without it attracting duty, as long as the end market is the UK. It can stop in EU countries, but you can't do anything with it. The only exception to that is that if you, for instance, sent your product from Tunisia by road or air to Paris, it stayed in a bonded warehouse, so it didn't clear customs in Paris, you could split that shipment, send some of it to the UK, and the remainder of it could go to your EU customers. As long as the product stays within, it doesn't get cleared by customs, then you can do split shipments in the EU. But that's the only thing that you can do with a product in the EU before it hits the UK. If you send product from Tunisia to a customer in Germany, they clear it through customs and they want to send it on to the UK, that export from Germany to the UK would attract tariffs. So again, it's very important to make sure that you know what's happening where on your trade flows. There is certification requirements for rules of origin. They're fairly straightforward for the Tunisia-UK Association Agreement. They're very, very similar to what used to apply before we left the EU. My final note of caution on trade between the UK and Tunisia is that import VAT is now payable on imports of Tunisian product into the UK. That applies to all imports into the UK, whether or not a product is duty-free, it is never VAT-free. So just be aware, I mean, the vast majority of companies in this part of the industry will be VAT registered, and therefore VAT is a cash flow issue rather than a cost issue. But do be aware that you will have to account for import VAT as a UK company, for instance, on your import declarations to HMRC. That's a very, very brief run through the key issues of the association agreement, but I'm sure there will be questions at the end of the session, and I'm more than happy to pick them up then. And again, if anybody has any more general questions about Brexit, I know this is particularly about Tunisia, but later on, if anybody has any particular questions about Brexit, I'll do my best to answer those as well.
Adam, thank you as always. Thank you for your support today. We've had, as the panel know, quite a number of questions already, which all been sent out to you. So you know the importance of this relationship that we're trying to build, and the part that Adam is playing today, because there's nothing better than having knowledge ahead of time before we go forward. So thank you for that, and I'm sure we'll come back to the questions later on. I'd like to introduce now Colin McCulloch, Director of UK and Ireland for OCO. Adam invited us to join as partner to put this webinar and put this partnership together, along with CPEC and the Tunisian government. So it is incredibly important, as I said previously, about the nearshoring and making sure what happened previously does not happen again. So welcome. And Colin will continue to introduce the second half of the our panelists. So welcome, Colin.
Thank you, Yvette, and thank you to the UK panelists. Good morning, everybody. My name is Colin McCulloch. I'm the Director for OCO Global for the UK and Ireland, and I look after our global trade business. It's sort of appropriate that I, in this webinar, am the bridge between what we've heard from the UK, and now we're going to hear from the Tunisian side. And that's really sort of sums up what we do, and I'll explain that now. But going forward, consider us as that sort of bridge between working with the UK and Tunisia, and working in partnership with Yvette and her team at the PCIAW, who have been great partners for this. Jeff, if you could upload the presentation, that would be great. So I will start just with a short introduction of who OCO is, so that you know who you're dealing with. I'll talk about our engagement with Tunisia, and then I'll talk just briefly then about this program with respect to workwear. So next slide, Jeff, please. So just briefly, OCO Global, like Simon, actually we are UK headquartered in Belfast. So we're about 120 people, but we are a global business. So we have, around 10 offices around the globe. We operate in a very sort of specialist area of international trade and foreign direct investment. So in short, we help companies with their international ambitions, and we work with government agencies around the world. So wherever we are, we help companies either come into that place, or we support clients to export. So on the next slide, so we're quite unique in that we sit, as we say, at the axis of global trade and investment. So we are, a lot of our customers are government agencies, So for example, we work on behalf of the department, the UK government's Department of International Trade, and we support UK exporters into North America, into the UAE, and into Europe on behalf of DIT. We also work with many places around the world. So we work with a lot of US state economic development organizations, be that New York, Georgia, Florida, Ohio, etc., helping their companies to export or to attract investment into those states. And we work with the likes of Japan, Switzerland, Abu Dhabi, etc. Okay, so we are really a connecting point between sort of businesses, intermediaries, and economic development organizations. And that's really what brings us here today. So next slide. So we have been very fortunate to be working with Tunisia over the last 2 years, okay? And we are working under a program that is called the North African Technical Assistance Facility. It is funded by the British government and is a program that is run by Tetra Tech International Development. And we work in conjunction with CEPEX, which is Tunisia's export development agency. And we work also obviously alongside DIT. The aim of this program is to increase that sort of relationship or reflex between the UK and Tunisia for the benefit of both economies. And our primary activities have been around helping Tunisian companies to export to the UK. So we work across the ICT, food and textiles sectors. And if we go to the next slide, Jeff. So as an example, if I focus on textiles, so in the first 2 years, we focused quite a lot on fashion textiles. And we originally started to communicate the opportunity, the UK opportunity to Tunisian companies. And then we created a program which we call the Market Acceleration Program, where we selected a small number of Tunisian companies that we felt had the capacities and capabilities for the UK market. And we worked with them over a period of 6 months and are still working with them to help them to, we all know, and Simon mentioned this, quality is a given, but I can assure you it's high in Tunisia. They know how to do textiles. And our job is to help them to understand the UK market, to help them understand the customer and the unique demands of the UK. And we did this through this program where we engage with them every single month. And they've really developed their understanding of what the UK customer is like and how it differs from France and Italy, etc. We've also created a sourcing site because we want UK companies to be able to see who's out there from Tunisia. At the minute, it's just our select companies on the fashion side. We will be populating this post the webinar with workwear manufacturers. So this will become a go-to if you want to check, what companies do what in Tunisia. And we also run a LinkedIn page called BuyTunisia, which just every week highlights a new company or the sector to let you know a little bit more about that, because we're trying to raise awareness of Tunisia in the UK. Okay, so if we just go on to the next slide. So what is our role? And this is important both for the Tunisian companies and for the UK companies here. So our role, this is the start of an initiative and a program. It's to raise the awareness and profile of Tunisian workwear manufacturing in the UK. It's to help Tunisian manufacturers learn about, prepare for, and enter the UK market. Okay. We are also running what I think is quite an innovative program, which we're calling Upgrade Tunisia, where we are pairing traditional businesses, be that in food or in textiles, with the really burgeoning tech ecosystem in Tunisia, so that they become more competitive, embrace automation, robotics, etc., to be more efficient is because it does come down to quality, cost, efficiency, responsiveness, and we're helping to do that, not just from a market access perspective, but from a company competitiveness and innovation standpoint. And then for the UK buyer, we are helping them to identify and connect with relevant Tunisian manufacturers who have the capacity, the capability, and the certifications. We are a private sector business. We understand that it is important that we really get what you need and only put the right people in front of you that can deliver that. Okay, so we take that responsibility and take that sort of pain away from you, if you like. And it's really there also to facilitate those ongoing discussions. So there is language issues, there is cultural issues. We help to sort of bridge that gap, if you like, to make sure that it is as smooth as possible. And then we are going to run a series of events and actions in conjunction with the PCIAW and with our partners in Tunisia to keep this momentum going so that you continue to learn and engage with the Tunisian sector. Next slide, Jeff. So that's my introduction. I really believe that times have changed. I think we're all feeling that with the pandemic, with Brexit. The status quo has been massively interrupted, and I don't think we can underplay that. And a new approach is needed. And I genuinely believe, from having worked with Tunisia for the last 2 years, that there is a great opportunity here. We look forward to working on both sides and with the PCIAW to help make that happen and explore those possibilities for partnership. So that's my introduction and sort of the end of the overview. So I'm very honored now to introduce sort of my next speaker, and we have the next two speakers are to show the importance of this initiative and the commitment of the respective governments. We have the ambassadors of both countries. So for now, I would like to introduce the Tunisian ambassador to the UK and Ireland. It's His Excellency Mr. Nabil Ben Heder. Ambassador, you're very welcome, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Colin. Good morning, everybody. I'm very, very happy to join you on the occasion of this webinar. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, OCO Global, and the tremendous work that they've been doing to promote and expand a trading relationship between Tunisia and the UK. I would like to thank the Professional Clothing Industry Association Worldwide and its CEO, Yvette Ashby, all the speakers, and we are very lucky to have an impressive lineup of speakers and specialists from the government organizations here in the UK and in Tunisia, the private sector, and of course the translator. So I'm trying to keep it quite slow so that they are able to translate. I think it's a very timely event, and maybe one of the first since the new continuity agreement entered into force between Tunisia and the UK. Of course, we will certainly some of the Tunisian speakers will highlight the strength and assets of the textile apparel sector, Tunisian sector. But it was already mentioned by the previous speakers. It's a well-established and organized sector with over 1,600 companies, vast majority of them producing exclusively for export. And a lot of them, and actually maybe as much as 2/3 of the companies are run or owned by foreign investors. The sector built a considerable know-how and expertise over time. It has boomed in the 1980s, so it goes back to 30, 40 years ago. It has so many assets, to be honest: competitive production costs, skilled human resources, compliance with high international standards, experience to deal with demanding customers, A lot of support from the government in terms of training, and we have somebody from CETEX, I think. It's been a driving engine of Tunisian exports, and our economy is very much based on exports. So the textile and apparel sector has always played a major part in that. And at some point, it's accounted for a third, as much as third of Tunisian exports from the manufacturing industries. Tunisia has always been one of the largest suppliers to Europe in many subsectors, and we will certainly hear from CPEX later on. Personally, I was very much involved in promoting the sector in the UK. In my previous position as economic counselor 20 years ago, and we organized Textile Tunisia event, which was a very successful exhibition, so successful that we had 5 editions of that, and we used to bring as many as 40 companies for 2-3 days show exhibition in London, and that time we managed to increase our exports by 3 times. Some elements that maybe we have to keep in mind. Both governments, and it's been, I think, highlighted by Colin, both governments are very keen to forge a closer partnership, especially post-Brexit, as the UK has now an independent trade policy vis-à-vis the outside world. So it's very much a shared ambition, and I think my colleague, His Excellency the Ambassador, the British Ambassador in Tunisia, will certainly tell you the same. The textile sector has been selected as one where we see a strong potential to develop trade between Tunisia and the UK. And as I said, because of the geographical proximity to Europe of Tunisia, I think there is an increasing now preference for the nearshoring, and it's been actually highlighted by one of the previous speakers. So manufacturers here in the UK and Europe are looking increasingly towards near markets where they can supply in short delays, and this, I think, will become increasingly the pattern in the future. And a number of Tunisian manufacturers have had to adapt to the new situation and starting to specialize in certain niche markets that require know-how and high technical skills. So one of these niches, I think, workwear, which we will discuss today. So just to insist that we are very keen, both governments, to see businesses developing links directly between both countries. Of course, we are at early stages now in the implementation of the continuity agreement. As some of you have already mentioned, there are some inquiries, there are some issues that are starting to arise, but it's our job actually to try to address those potential issues and to try to help solving problems. So I invite you, I urge you, if there is any issue that you want to speak or you want to discuss with us, our job is to try to find solution and to facilitate contacts with relevant experts. Thank you again for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador, and thank you for your commitment today and your ongoing commitment to the economic ties between Tunisia and the UK. So I would now, it's my pleasure to introduce the British Ambassador to Tunisia, whose embassy we work for and with very, very closely, and are very committed to the cause. So I think we'll introduce His Excellency Edward Oakton, British Ambassador to Tunisia.
Colin, thank you very much indeed, and great to be with you all. And I endorse every word that my colleague, His Excellency the Tunisian Ambassador, has just said. The risk of worrying you all for a moment, I'm going to take you back to 1660, Don't worry, we're not going to go every year since then. But in 1660, if you look immediately behind me, there is a print of a commercial treaty between the UK and Tunisia, when Charles II signed with the then Bey, the then ruler under the Ottomans of what was the territory of Tunisia, a commercial agreement for our commercial exchange. We were at that stage a big power in the Mediterranean with a powerful navy and big commercial interests. And that remained the case until sort of the middle of the 19th century, when the Suez Canal was built, and we had the sort of rivalry with other European powers in that region. And the Congress of Berlin came along, and unaccountably, if you're sitting in Tunisia, we looked to Egypt and India and all parts east, and as it were, the French were given the Tunisia as a protectorate. However, we are now back 140 years later. And as we come out of the institutions of the European Union, I mean, we're still Europeans, but we are out of the institutions of the European Union. And I say we're still Europeans because I think it's quite important that people get that we still have European values and what we stand for internationally as a sort of force for good, if I might use that phrase. But also we need to bring that down to brass tacks. What does that mean in concrete terms as we come out of the European Union? And how can we best, in very concrete terms, relations with and the volume of our trade with important partners in the neighborhood, very much including Tunisia. And the just looking at the sort of empirically, what are the things that are inhibiting that? And one of them is that we simply don't have the reflex, if you like, to think in Britain of Tunisia as a commercial partner. Now, clearly, both of our embassies are trying our best day in, day out now to change that reflex. And in many ways, one of the key sort of tasks of an embassy is to act as a docking mechanism to bring together at the political level ministers and at the commercial level companies. And I have had the managing director of UK Trade and Investment, as it was a few years ago, and we worked really hard all over the world to try to bring together British companies of whatever size with their foreign counterparts. And it's I won't say it's a challenge, but it's making sure that that doesn't happen and that does happen, and that we minimize the time that you will need to take as business people on both sides to forge those partnerships is I think a core task. And if I could just take advantage of Colin's presence on the screen to say, well, that Colin has just described is really, really vital. And you know, there can't be too much of this, and we've been very glad to support your organisation, Colin, over the last several years. So thank you for all of that. We now have in place, following some pretty intense negotiations over the last year or so,
Okay, we seem to have lost Mr. Odin at the moment. Yes. He's coming back now. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, good. Please carry on. We lost you for a moment. Carry on.
Where did you lose me? Sorry.
You're just following your mention of the work that you're doing with us. You were then on how important that is, and then you're just going to carry on with the.
Okay, sorry, thank you very much. So the key instrument now for taking forward the relationship is, or for founding business, is the association agreement between the UK and Tunisia, which will essentially extend the provisions of the EU agreement with Tunisia, and which ensured, it's already entered into force, which ensured that on the 31st of December, there was not even a second's break in as we left the European Union. But now we have to ensure that that works, that the rules of origin, for example, the rules of origin regime, which I just heard one of our colleagues very clearly explaining, works in a way to minimize friction. And I know there are some concerns over the tariff which is being imposed by the EU on what they term, what they see as re-exports. All of that we need to work through. But we are, and they say one of the most worrying phrases is, I am here from the British, I am from the British government and I am here to help. But we really are from the British government and we really are here to help. And we have a very active team, both in Tunis and in the Department of Trade in London, who are very keen to work with businesses in the UK in helping you to engage alongside colleagues in OCO Global. We've established a day one task force, as we call it, between the UK and Tunisia, with relevant operational leads in the departments in both of our countries to ensure a smooth transition. And we very much look forward to staying in touch with you all, as we are with our Tunisian counterparts, again, both in London and here in Tunis on a daily basis. So thank you so much to all the organisers for putting this on, and let's take these words forward into concrete trading partnerships. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Much appreciated. So at this point, two things, just to remind anyone who has joined that this is a webinar run with simultaneous translation. So there is a interpretation globe at the bottom of your screen. You can click on that and choose your language, French or English. I send my apologies to our English to French translator, who is working particularly hard in this first half of the webinar. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of relief as we move over to the Tunisian side. So it's my pleasure now to introduce the Tunisian Textile Federation, who are fully committed to this program and this initiative. It is workwear is a strategic priority for them, and as is the diversification of markets. Okay, so today I'm delighted to have the Vice President Nefa, who will introduce and speaking in French, and then we will hear from Mehdi Miled, who's a member of the management board of the Federation, and he will continue then in English as well. And we have the support of the President as well. Okay, thank you. Over to you, Nefa.
Bonjour tout le monde. Alors, au nom de notre fédération, un petit mot pour remercier beaucoup les organisateurs de cet événement. On remercie en particulier la fédération, l'association britannique du workwear et l'ambassade britannique, ainsi que toutes les structures qui nous ont aidés à organiser cela. Je remercie vivement également son Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassadeur britannique en Tunisie, ainsi que notre ambassadeur, son Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassadeur à Londres. Alors, un petit mot avant de céder la parole à mon collègue, un rappel. Donc, le secteur du workwear est l'un des secteurs phares de notre industrie textile. C'est un secteur qui n'a pas connu de récession malgré la vague de délocalisation que nous avons connue il y a quelques dizaines d'années. Il a même été pérenne, il a été très pérenne, très performant. Il n'a pas été non plus affecté par la pandémie de 2020 que nous vivons encore. Bien au contraire, nous sentons qu'il y a une vague de relocalisation de nos partenaires étrangers, de nos partenaires européens surtout, qui sont très présents, avec beaucoup d'entreprises européennes qui sont installées et nous sentons bien au contraire comme des secteurs comme les vêtements de protection ou les vêtements ou le secteur sanitaire, qu'il y a un très grand regain d'intérêt. Donc c'est un secteur stratégique sur lequel et avec un très fort potentiel de développement et en investissement et en conquête de nouveaux marchés, en développement à l'exportation. Et donc, nous considérons que cette démarche que nous avons enclenchée avec l'association britannique du workwear vient à point, parce que nous sommes très peu présents sur le marché britannique et qu'avec le Brexit, il y a effectivement des opportunités très importantes. Et donc, pour répondre à la question de M. Simon Hunter, je pense que les opérateurs britanniques trouveront auprès de nos confrères les partenaires fiables et durables pour collaborer avec eux. Donc, on va avoir le soin d'expliquer tous les avantages et qu'est-ce qui va pouvoir convaincre nos partenaires britanniques à venir trouver en Tunisie ce qu'ils cherchent en termes de souplesse, en termes de compétitivité, de flexibilité, etc. Mais effectivement, comme l'a souligné M. Hunter, je pense que l'une des choses que nous devons éclaircir pour tout le monde, pour les opérateurs britanniques et tunisiens, c'est cette histoire de taxes et cette histoire de règles d'origine. Effectivement, aujourd'hui, nous achetons des tissus du Royaume-Uni, des entreprises tunisiennes achètent des tissus du Royaume-Uni et les réexportent sur l'Union européenne. Donc, nous ne savons pas s'il va y avoir un impact en termes de taxes après Brexit. Comme nous achetons beaucoup de tissus Euromed, européens et d'autres provenances, mais euroméditerranéennes, et pour être exportés sur le Royaume-Uni, et nous ne savons pas non plus qu'est-ce qu'il va en subir comme taxe. Donc, c'est un point crucial, au-delà de la compétitivité et de la souplesse et de ce que recherchent les partenaires britanniques. Nous devons éclaircir ces points et mettre à disposition des opérateurs des deux rives. Donc, je pense que c'est une priorité sur laquelle nous devons à laquelle nous devons nous intéresser juste après. Donc, sans plus tarder, je cède la parole à mon collègue Mehdi Miled pour faire la présentation sur notre secteur.
Welcome everybody. I'm Mehdi Miled. I'm a general manager of the VTR group with 5,000 workers existing since 40 years. And I'm a member of the board of Tunisian Textile Federation. So I'm pleased today to share my screen and to present you the advantage of manufacturing in Tunisia. So I will share my screen right now. 1 second, please. Just okay, goes. Can you see it? Hello?
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Try again. If not, Jeff can
So it works. I get it.
Yeah, you got it. Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, today the textile company in Tunisia are about 1,650 companies. The majority of the companies are exporting company, and they are employing 160,000 workers approximately. 45% of those companies are with a foreign participation, mainly European, and this is about 650 companies. This leads us to a very strong partnership between the European company and the Tunisian company for great collaboration in terms of technology and developments of know-how. This helps also that the Tunisian factory comes to the world-class company. This is a very important synergy between the company, European and Tunisian, for the promoting know-how and technology. 14 bridge companies are existing in Tunisia. They are installed. Many of them are in the garment sector. There are not so many. So we hope that this figure will develop soon. For the import, we are importing something like 2,000 million euros in 2019. The European market is our main source for fabric and accessories, so it's 58% represent. The majority of the import are about the fabric, it's 64%. And the main import coming from Italy, France, Turkey, as you can see in the graphic. Tunisia, UK is on the 11th rank as a supplier of Tunisia, is with 23 million euros. And the main of the imported product is about fabric. And here I have to say that there is a great opportunity to the UK suppliers to get in the Tunisian market. I had the personal experience to go to UK through a different supplies, either trim or fabric, and I know that UK companies have a great innovative product. I used to go through to Shepshed, to Loughborough, to Manchester, and I know that the UK suppliers have a very strong innovative and research and development department. They have always something new, they have something innovative. So this could be good collaboration between Tunisian manufacturing companies and UK companies. So now I move to the advantage of producing in Tunisia. First of all, and as all people have mentioned, the strategic position of Tunisia, this leads us to the short lead time for the transport. By our days, from Tunisia to UK, it takes 3 open days. Generally, we ship about Saturday noon, and the goods arrive by Wednesday morning in UK. So this is a great advantage, either in ecologic term, because you know that the truck is one of the most ecologic way, that better than plane or long distance of importing goods. Also, Tunisia is at 2 hours flying, 2 hours and a half flying from UK. So this gives us a great flexibility for collaboration, whatever it needs, the meeting to set up a collection or models. And as you know, by today, we have to be fast. And so quick communication and quick connection is needed. And more than that, we have all the majority of the courier company are established in Tunisia. And if we send a sample it take 1 day from delivering from Tunisia to UK by using Federal Express or DHL or UPS. So all the facilities for logistic facilities are existing today in Tunisia and can help for a fast service. This is very important to our business because it's fashion is we have to give to quick response to the demand that we have to the market and also for the workwear. The second point which I would like to mention about it is the custom procedure in Tunisia. They are since 1972, Tunisia have implemented a very efficient custom procedure system for the exporting company that help us to be fast and to not lose time. So the clearance of the good, when we get goods imported whatever from the world, the clearance is done in the factory, not in the harbor. Means if the UK companies or European companies ship by Friday, the goods are on Tuesday morning latest in the factory, and the customer are present in the factory to make the clearance. And this is a great advantage compared to the other country where the goods stay in the harbor for clearance for 2 or 4 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. And so now the government have implementing some digital tools, and this make it easier either in import or in export. So the custom procedure is very simple and is very efficient and is not that complicated. The third point which we would like to raise up is the strong know-how in the different field of textile, and here in high expertise in research and developments. The Tunisian manufacturing company are working today in different fields like swimwear, like workwear, sportswear, fast fashion. Some of them are vertical for the knitted garment also. And today we are working, the companies here are working with the VF Group, with PVH, for example, Inditex, Van Lack, Lacoste, Hugo Boss, Benetton. For the English, I have few, Ted Baker, Hackett's, Next also. So as you can see, there are high quality focused brands, and those brands have a good, well known in quality, and they are customer focused also. You can see as those groups are already producing in Tunisia. Means that all our engineers speak English, so we don't have a problem with the English speaking, because I have seen some question in the about that. So we are speaking fluently English. The engineer and they have in their training in the school, they are speaking English, and after with the training that they have with the practice also with those groups, because they're all using English as a language for communication on the technical documents and all the documents. So the fourth point is the high responsiveness, the high flexibility to the market, and the fast replenishment. By our days, the Tunisian suppliers, manufacturers are working on a very short lead time delivering. As we work already, we have the experience with the fast fashion brands, and so our lead time are between 30 days and 60 days as an average, and this can be less if you work with a vertical company. So this is a very important to the market. We know as by our days that the most challenge for the buyers is to reduce their stock, secure their sourcing, and also buy what they have sold already in the market. So Tunisia is a good option for those buyers and those brands who are working in the short term, who would like to be reactive to the market. A lot of our customers today are asking for in-season collection. Means we get out from the collection of winter collection, summer collection, and the 6-month lead time developments, and now we are asked to react immediately to the instant demand of the market. So from developments till the product delivery to the market should not exceed 90 days, including the developments. And this is very important to our business today, whatever it's workwear or fashion. Fast response. I have to say that the Tunisian company are working as a fireman to the market. So this is not possible with the other country where there is a distance or where it takes time to establish. The fifth point which I would like to mention is the experience in the fabric and accessory sourcing. First of all, there is a lot of Tunisian company are vertically integrated. So this is an advantage to compress the cost and also to be flexible in for the knit. For the woven, we get our fabric and component from Europe or from Asia using our network, and this is we have a very strong experience with the brands and with the customer with whom we are working today, in all the Tunisian garment manufacturers working today. The sixth point, we have a very strong know-how in customization, either through embroidery, screen print, heat transfers, and this area is keeping developing in terms of technology and material. Today, we have a lot of the companies are investing on the digital printing, either on screen printing or all over print fabric. This also for the heat transfer, the material also we have more and more demand on the biologic ink, green ink and green component, and the Tunisian screen printer are up to date with those technology and with those material. The second point, important point, is the compliance. The exporting company, the majority of the exporting company are in compliance with the international standard. A lot of them are certified with the ISO 9001, 14001 for the environment, or the ISO 40001 for the security, SA 8000 also. So I can say that 90% of the exporting company at least have 2 or 3 of those labels, either for the security, work security and human being of the workers, or on terms of certification of the product, of the quality and respecting the environment. This is very, so the Tunisian manufacturer are used to the certification process, and they are eager to get certification, value-adding certification. Also, the main organization, certifying organization and control are existing in Tunisia, which can represent a guarantee to the buyers. We have such as SGS, Intertech, UL, RINA, or Veritas. They have some of them have their own laboratory, so it can be helpful to collaborate and to make the tests faster, to make sure that the product are in compliance what have been to the quality and to the norm that have been agreed between the suppliers and the customers. So I move to the next page. The Tunisian textile.
Sorry, Mehdi, just to say, look, we are running a little bit behind schedule, so we'll not do the videos. You're doing a great job. Carry on with your presentation. I think we will share the videos afterwards, if that is okay. We are running too tight on time.
Okay. So the Tunisian textile company invests in the new technology to guarantee performance activity. The partnership that we have with the European companies is helping us to get the latest of the technology. The main machine suppliers with the top technology like Yuki, like Yamato, like Brother, are offering the best machine. And now we start with the sewing machine, with a digital machine, working with a wireless connection. And we do have those machines now available in some of the factory, and this is the top of the technology. Some of the company like Gerber, like Lectra, they're existing here and offering assistance, and this is very helpful for research and developments. 3D tools developments, digital 3D is available through a company like Optitex or Workwear, and this is the future. Now we see reducing the number of physical samples, so it have an ecological impact, and also it compressed the cost. And now there is a strong know-how developed in Tunisia for the 3D tools developments and for the patent developments, and this is very value adding to the business today. So I move to the next slide. The environment. The environment protection is one of the focus that we have in Tunisia, because either for the government or the company, there is a lot of investment done on the green energy, and mainly for the wind energy and the photovoltaic energy. Now there is several companies who are supplying their own electrical energy by themselves, by the photovoltaic, at the level of 40–50%. And now more and more projects are done on that purpose. The government is giving grant on that and helping on that and pushing on that, and this is very important. Also, we are trying to reduce our use of the resource. You know, all of us know that the textile industry is using a lot of waters, and now the company, the garment manufacturing company, are investing in the station of recycling station, which help us to reduce the water use by 90 to 95% of the initial demand. This is very important, and the technology there is a lot of technology giving that, either biologic recycling system or electrolysis system. Some of the factory are using the ozone in the washing process, and this reduces tremendously the use of the water, of the chemical. Also, circular economy is one of the subject in our industry. We start to have the experience of recycling the wastage and getting them reused, and this will help us to save a lot in our resource for cotton and to be more smarter. So the engagement of the sector to be sustainable for the future and to be respectable for the environment is very fast and is very strong. So one of the what makes Tunisia very successful is the workforce that we have. We have a well-being and safety for the employment, for our employment. A lot of the company are certified SA 8000 or OSHA's 18001, and the brand that I have already mentioned, they are all member of the FLA organization. And the FLA, as you know, the FLA organization is an NGO who makes sure that all the standards of human rights in workplace are respected. So with the channel that we have through our customer and with the rules that we have, the law that we have in Tunisia, you can be sure that all the workers' rights in terms of security, in terms of right, are respected, and all the companies are fully committed to that. Because without a strong workforce and a happy workforce, we cannot be successful. Our workers are committed to their job, and they're proud about what they are producing. Okay, Tunisia is a democratic country. The workers' right and equal pay for men and women is strictly respected and controlled. I know that in some countries there is still segregation between men and women, but it's not even the subject here in Tunisia. Men are equal to women. They have the same salary. They have the same rights. Even though the women have some advantages in the workplace that help them to be a mother and also getting responsibility all the laws are established to respect that and to help to promote men and women at the same level. So I move now to the part of the workwear company. More than 200 companies are specialized in the workwear, and there are 84% of them are fully exporting. But this number of 200 companies is not representing the real capacity, because there is a lot of the company can be flexible, can be converted to the workwear. And also, when we speak about the workwear, we speak always with the suits, with complicated suits. But even there is the corporate clothes with the t-shirt, polo shirt, and shirt can be considered as a workwear. But during the statistic, we don't enter them under the workwear NGP. The workwear represents more than 20% of the total exported garment. The main market is France for 35%, Belgium 21%. We can say that UK is 3%, but I'm sure that the real figure are more important than that, because UK was in the EU, and a lot of delivery are done to the central warehouse in Europe, and after it's delivered the second time to UK. So I'm quite sure that the Tunisian product are more exported to UK are more than 3%.
You're not on mute.
Hello?
Hi, Mehdi. We just need to wrap up now. Okay, thank you.
It's okay?
Yes. Just if we finish, you've got 1 minute.
Okay, I'll try to. So the next slide is about protective personal equipment. We can do the high visibility with the 3M bands and others, waterproofing with the seams, insulation from retardant, face protection, safety. The professional wear are used from several fields as a corporate or medical and industry. So sophisticated workwear and customized clothes. We are very flexible on MOQ. I think the average is about 300 per orders, but it can go down with the 10, 15 when it's customized to the operator and so on. So sophisticated workwear and customized clothes is one of the strengths of the Tunisian garment manufacturer, that they can handle it in an easy and a fast way. Tunisia, so here is a summary about the know-how, the heritage of Tunisian know-how in workwear and flexibility, proximity and reactivity of the companies that make the sector very innovative and can offer good service to the UK company. The post-COVID crisis have been proved to us to show our flexibility. We have been more reactive to European market and to their demand. We have changed, we have adapted ourselves to the demand, and we try to respect the rules and also to be helpful and flexible.
Thank you very much, Mehdi. That's much appreciated.
Thank you very much. The last slide is about some of the workwear brands who are working in Tunisia, who trust us. I can say Bocaux, Lafont, Mullier, Sion, you know, and there's others which are not mentioned in that slide. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, I finished.
Thank you very much, Mehdi. That was super comprehensive and very clear to everybody. So Mehdi has kindly sort of explained the strengths of the Tunisian manufacturing base. For those UK companies that would be interested in investment and looking at setting something up or partnering into Tunisia, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Abdelbasit Rammi, who is the General Director of the Foreign Investment Promotion Agency, FIPA. Abdelbasit, over to you.
Thank you, Colin. Very good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you to this important webinar. During this short presentation, I will try to give you an overview of the foreign direct investment landscape in Tunisia and the textile industry. I will highlight the strong assets Tunisia has as an attractive business location, and few words about the Invest in Tunisia agency, FIPA Tunisia. Tunisia is an attractive destination for foreign direct investment, and in particular for the textile industry. Out of these 1,700 companies, we have most of them are with foreign participation. It's about 1,200 companies which are employing 125,000 people. And the UK also is a major, one of the major investors in Tunisia. And out of the 19 companies, 1/3 are working in the textile industries. 68% of them, of course, are working in the manufacturing industry with a strong presence in the textile industry. So the textile industry is very important within the British investment in Tunisia. And many of them, they are expanding and investing more in Tunisia. We have registered 23 investment operation during 2019-2020, and the first half of this year we have 4 projects which has been registered. Tunisia has several assets, but I will try to highlight the four major assets. It's mainly related to the geographical proximity, to human resource, to the infrastructure, and also the business environment in Tunisia. Tunisia benefits from a geographical proximity to major markets at the crossroads of between Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. We have signed several free trade agreements with different parts of the world, which enable foreign companies based in Tunisia to export freely to different markets. We have a free trade agreement with Europe. We have several free trade agreements with neighboring countries, with the Middle Eastern and Arab countries. We are enhancing our integration into Africa, in particular with the eastern and the western part and the southern part of Africa, in addition to historical links with sub-Saharan African countries, and which shows that Tunisia really is a gateway to different parts of the world. The main asset of Tunisia is related to a human resource. We have a large pool of skilled labor force. We have plus 60,000 new graduates per year, with, of course, a trend to more technological activities. And there is a lot of innovation, in particular in the textile industry, a part of other activities. We have also, we are able to provide a highly skilled labor force at competitive costs. And this slide shows that Tunisia is one of the most competitive countries in the region. It's confirmed by FDI benchmark tool, which is a Financial Times tool, related to the cost of labor and also all the other operating costs. So Tunisia is ready to provide good quality of labor. We have also a good infrastructure in terms of the availability of industrial land, dedicated area, and all the facilities which enable foreign companies operating in Tunisia to operate and to export in good conditions. We have also one of the most attractive business environment in Tunisia. Investment is free in most sectors, including, of course, the textile industry, and foreign business, they can own 100% of the capital without any restriction. Simplified procedure of the implementation, no restriction for the transfer of profits and capital gains, and also the ease to import and export, which has been already mentioned by in previous presentation. Substantial incentives are granted to foreign investors, and the textile industry is considered as a priority sector. So it's entitled to an investment grant of 15%, and also the subsidy of employers' contribution for the first 3 years. For bigger projects, we have also substantial incentives for what we call it national projects of national interest. They should respond to one of the two criteria, either the amount of investment, which should be at least 50 million Tunisian dinars, or they should employ 500 employees during the first 3 years, and also other incentives which are granted to regional development, which can reach up to 30% of the investment, and also the exemption from income tax for 10 years, and the payment of the social contribution for a period of 10 years. The Invest in Tunisia agency is the government lead organization in charge of promoting Tunisia and supporting foreign business looking to expand their activity in Tunisia. We have a network of 5 offices abroad, including one in London, and we consider the UK market as a strategic one in terms of foreign direct investment. That's why within UK technical assistance, the FIPA designed a market-to-market strategy, which will govern our strategy to attract more and more UK investment. And we are ready really to work closely. We already work with the two embassies in London and in Tunis. And also we are ready to work with all other stakeholders, either Tunisian or UK business association and also from other organizations, to provide the right support to British companies looking to expand their business and to explore all the opportunities in Tunisia. That's it, and I will be happy really to answer all your questions. I have already 2 questions that I will try to answer during the Q&A session. Thank you very much for your attention.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Very concise and to the point. Thank you. Thank you very much. Abdel Basit was representing FIPA, the investment agency. It's now my pleasure to introduce our export partner from Tunisia, the Export Promotion Agency, and we have the CEO, Mr. Chiheb Ben Ahmed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to thank the OCO program for this initiative aimed at bringing together Tunisian exporters and UK workwear importers through a concrete way. The prominent involvement of the UK Professional Clothing Industry Association, as well as the participants' large number registered today, confirm the importance of this initiative. This meeting is an admissible opportunity for textile and clothing professionals in Tunisia to showcase their know-how, their experience, and their ability to meet the needs of UK buyers. It should be noted that nearly 90% of the Tunisian textile and garment sector's production is exported to international markets. We strongly believe that the workwear sector in Tunisia is able to offer the UK partners a profitable trade alternative because of their perfect knowledge of the international markets. We are aware that the textile and clothing sector in Tunisia is the second largest exporting sector with 1.38 billion euro in 2020. A performance decreases of 12% due to an unfavorable international environment. Usually this sector performs better, but this year it has declined for reasons that everyone knows. Despite these difficulties, this sector remains dynamic and offers a strong potential for partnership and investment. It should be noted that currently 45% of active companies are in partnership or with 100% foreign capital and are ranked as the 9th European supplier, with France, Italy, Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium as the top 5 partners. UK is Tunisia's 10th customer with 3.3 million euro in exports, which remains well below both capacity and needs. In general, exports of workwear represent 10% of the Tunisian total exports of the textile and clothing sector, which confirms the position of this sector in the development of exports to the various markets. We are convinced that the OCO program, in collaboration with the CEPEX and with the involvement of all professional associations from both sides, can achieve concrete steps and help both to implement Tunisian products on the UK market and allow UK professionals to benefit from smart and sustainable sourcing partnership. Through its services, CEPEX will continue to strengthening direct contacts, promoting matchmaking actions, and will make all of its promotional device available to partners on both sides to reach the objectives on the UK market. With over 40 years of experience, the Tunisian Export Promotion Center has developed a valuable expertise and effective know-how in the support and guidance of the exporting companies in the international markets through promotional events, organization, partnership meetings, and marketing prospecting, in addition to assistance process through financial and technical support. Finally, we invite UK partners to take advantage of Tunisia proximity, its qualified human resources, and its confirmed know-how and highly developed partnership with European and international companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shia, very much appreciated. So we've heard from investment, we've heard from the Textiles Federation and from the promotion agency. We're just, our last presentation from Tunisia is from, as we say, the horse's mouth. So we have the CEO of one of the leading workwear companies called Workman Group, and our English translator, English to French translator, will be delighted to get a break. I am so sorry, but we are now hearing in French from the CEO of Workman, Mr. Tarek Benhajali. Tarek.
Merci, bonjour tout le monde. Je vais essayer de partager donc la présentation. Voilà, donc Workman est une société travaillant dans le vêtement de travail en Tunisie. On est à peu près 400 employés et nous travaillons donc avec tout ce qui est voilà, Gerber, Lectra, nous avons un bureau d'études internes, etc. Donc la société Workman, je ne vais pas trop m'attarder puisque l'objet c'est de parler business et je vais essayer de respecter le temps. Voilà, donc c'est juste pour aller à l'essentiel. Je ne vais pas répéter ce qui a été dit par mes collègues et amis. Donc, juste pour répondre, par exemple, à la question de M. Hunter par rapport au coût, de production, j'aimerais bien parler plutôt de compétitivité de la Tunisie que le coût. Parce que en Tunisie, la compétitivité, il y a le coût, mais il y a aussi le conseil, il y a la proximité, il y a la réactivité, etc. Il faut ajouter à cela le coût financier, because les entrepreneurs anglais n'ont pas à mobiliser beaucoup d'argent pour acheter en Asie. Donc ça, c'est par rapport au coût. Pour la qualité aussi, pour répondre à la question de la qualité, mais comme ça a été dit très bien par notre ami Mahdi, donc la Tunisie, elle a tous les standards internationaux de qualité. Voilà. Et nous avons plusieurs certifications, aussi bien du process, mais également de produits, products et produits, et comme la certification, par exemple, pour la haute visibilité. Donc, nous avons toutes les normes européennes et voilà. Pour le delivery time, donc pour voilà, donc nous, comme ça a été dit par Mehdi, mais si nous éliminons le développement, on est à peu près à 3 à 4 semaines de délai de fabrication. Voilà. Voilà, nous pouvons également être très flexibles en Tunisie parce que nous pouvons produire donc des petites quantités. Nous n'avons pas de minimum de quantité. Et nous travaillons beaucoup pour tout ce qui est tête de série pour nos clients, tout ce qui est préparation aux appels d'offres, etc. Et nous fabriquons aussi, bien évidemment, des grandes quantités pour répondre à des marchés importants. Voilà. Je vais juste céder pour 1 minute la parole à mon collaborateur Meher, qui va présenter un peu la communication et les autres points. Et je préfère laisser le temps pour les questions-réponses. Et voilà. Voilà, à toi, Mer.
Yes, hello everybody. Hello, so I'm an export case manager at Workman. I will be continuing the presentation in English, so the translator can have a break. Yes, so when it comes to communication, so as Mr. Mahdi said already, we don't have no barrier, no language barrier at this point, because most of people learn the English language at school, so no worries for the language. Also, we have fast internet connection too, so which make it easy to organize conferences call. Now for innovation, it was dealt by Mr. Mahdi too. So innovation concerns especially the products and not really the fabric, as most of the fabric are important from European countries such as the UK or Spain or even France.
Voilà pour la présentation. On se met à votre disposition pour les questions.
Thank you very much. I think we save the questions until the end. We are just finalizing. We have the last presentation, and then we will go into Q&A. I appreciate we are still we're running behind schedule, but we have given a very thorough presentation from Tunisia, and I would now like to hand over to Gerber Technologies, to the sales director, Mr. Richard Jessup. Richard.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm also joined on the line by Francisco Aguiar, who works alongside myself. I manage the European sales team, and in most countries we work direct with the customers, but in Tunisia we work with a partner, and Francisco manages our partner channel. So he's a good contact for the Tunisian people on the line. I'll try to be brief and to the point, because I know we're running way behind time. What I'd like to explain today is a little bit about us as a business, and you know, how we, as a technology partner, we can help both the UK companies and also the Tunisian companies on the line. So yes, as I explained, you know, we're a technology partner in the fabric industry, so for soft fabric and sewn goods, and so that can range across a number of different markets. And you know, we work specifically with the workwear industry, but also in your daily life you will touch something every day that has come from one of our customers. And you know, recently we worked with many companies that were working in the PPE sector, and that's where we spent quite a bit of time working with PCIAW on some projects. So I'd just like to touch on that, you know, and I'm going to use the PPE. What we did with PPE is a bit of a parallel as to how we can help in working with the Tunisian companies and helping to engage with them with UK businesses. With the UK brands and retailers. So we set up a task force at the very beginning of the COVID period. We knew that one of the main factors, or one of the big factors that would really help the PPE situation, was that nearshoring, or even you know, even onshoring could take place. And so we were there to help in that particular situation. And the way that we did that was by creating a PPE task force. So most of us know, you know, most of us, if you've heard of Gerber, if you know Gerber, you'll know as a technology provider of software and machinery for the industry. But we go much beyond that. And so when we launched our PPE task force, it was to connect companies with the information that they needed to be able to manufacture some of these goods. And that was really critical in these COVID times, because it massively accelerated the abilities of manufacturers to produce these products and get them to the market fast. So we connected companies that had the know-how. Either it could have been the materials or the regulatory standards or whatever piece of information it needed in order to get out to market. So we see ourselves much more than just a technology provider, but also the glue really that sticks you together, your businesses together, both the manufacturers, the brands, and the retailers. And how do we do that? Well, we like to think of ourselves as the trusted advisor in this whole picture. So, we have the know-how, we know how to manufacture garments. We know the processes that you'll go through. But we have the technology to help you with that. So be that, some software, some machinery, whatever it may be, we have technology for the whole of the value chain. But we also have the expertise, and that's the really important part in this conversation. We can help you. We can help you to work, if you're a Tunisian manufacturer, to help with some of the UK brands, and vice versa. If you're a UK brand or retailer and want to work with a Tunisian manufacturer, we have the technology and the know-how to help you do that. And we really work in I'm just going to flick through this slide, open it up. We work in every part of the manufacturing chain. So let me get to. So if you're in, if you're in the very conceptual part, if you're a brand or a retailer, we work with PLM to enable you to share those designs and share those with the customers. And share them with your customers, but also with the manufacturers. We have technology for visualization of the pattern pieces, both in 2D and 3D, which will help to accelerate the process of sampling. So if you want to be quick and smart and really get into the UK market, then perhaps think about how you can communicate as a manufacturer with some of the brands and retailers. And the use of 3D technology can really help in getting the fit right and the visualization of the samples, so you can massively reduce the time to market. But also we can help on the manufacturing side. If you want to be best in class at manufacturing, then we have all the tools, equipment, and so on to make that happen. So that's where we can really add value to your business. And we have a whole team of people that are dedicated to doing that. So again, it's not just about the software and the equipment, it's about engaging with our experts, and we can look at focus areas in your facilities from both sides of the value chain, both the brands, retailers, and also the manufacturers, and provide training, expertise in order to bring you to a level where you are best in class. And then afterwards, we can optimize and monitor that process in order to further make you best in class and best at what you do. So we do that through a series of interactions with you. So first of all, we take a discovery session, and then we work on some strategic solutions. What tools do you need to help you in that process? And then it's about integrating that into your workflows and so on. And we mustn't forget that data is key now. We can use all the data that comes from your manufacturing process to look at it and say, how did we do? Are you achieving the best situation you can be in? And we do that with our team of trusted advisors. We have a team of consultants that are have many years of expertise in the industry. And so we've seen it all around the world. We work globally. And something that you're trying to achieve, I'm sure that we've helped another company try to achieve it. So really, that that I didn't want to run over time too much. So that's a quick wrap up. If you do want to reach out to us, there's both my email address and Francisco's email address on the screen here. If you want to talk about how you can technologically be better, then please reach out to Gerber, and we can help share some of the secrets with you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Richard. It's excellent. And I think it's also worth a conversation between ourselves as well, as we look to support Tunisian companies with their competitiveness as well. So Jeff, if you can just take up my final slides, please. So we're just wrapping up. now before the Q&A, and I just wanted to really have a call to action. So Jeff, if you could just put the slides up, that'd be great. So,
just a minute.
Okay, no problem. So just thank you everyone for your patience and for staying with us. There's been a lot to go through, so I just asked for 2 minutes of your time just so you know what happens next. Okay. So on the next slide, Jeff, this is, let's make this happen. Okay. So I think we've heard really good stuff from both sides. I think there's definitely a synergy here. So how do we make it happen? So this is not a webinar. It's the beginning of a relationship. Okay. So we will, from today, we're going to broker introductions between the UK and Tunisian companies and institutions. We'll continue to share information on what's happening in Tunisia. Okay, so to the UK companies and vice versa. We will facilitate visits to Tunisia when it's possible for UK companies that are interested in manufacturing or partnerships or investment. What we do is we plan it, we manage it, we host you, we take care of pretty much everything, and we can partly fund some of that as well. So when that great day happens again, it would be my pleasure to invite you to Tunisia and to help you get the most out of that, to meet with the people that you need to. We're also going to attend the PCIAW annual event in November. So again, an opportunity to meet face-to-face, hopefully, with Tunisian manufacturers and UK suppliers and buyers. And look, we're going to use all our resources, and I think to stress, you can see that we have all the stakeholders involved and committed to make this a success, so we can do this together. And our job is to help to do that and to progress this discussion. Next slide, Jeff. So for UK companies, okay, very simple. Call me or preferably email me or Yvette. We're going to work in tandem, so just feel free to email us and tell us what you're looking for or any questions you have, and we'll help you to begin the journey and to partner with this wonderful textiles nation. And then in the next slide, Jeff, for Tunisian companies, okay, we will send you a UK market opportunity report following this webinar. We will send you a template to complete so that you can register and be seen on our Tunisian textile site, sourcing site, so that UK companies can then look at that site and see you and what you're capable of doing. We will profile you in the UK market as well. And interestingly, we can, if you're interested in some of the stuff that Gerber have been talking about, we have potential to support some of that activity, and we're also supporting an Industry 4.0 initiative. So if you are committed to exporting into the UK, please get in touch with my colleagues locally in Tunis. That's Miriam and Sarah. And next slide, Jeff. That is, you'll be glad to hear, is the end of the session of presentations. So let's start the Q&A. I would like to thank all my panelists. I'd like a massive thank you to our English to French translator, Lucille. You earned your money this morning, so thank you. And let's over to you, Yvette, and the team for Q&A.
Thank you so much, ambassadors, president, vice president, and all our panelists that took part today. Our audience is staying with us. I know some of it was very long, but it's all in the best interest of what we're trying to create and the best for the UK industry and manufacturing industry. So we find a partner that really will understand and really is committed to working with us. So I'm really grateful for the ambassador supporting this initiative and CPEC for really putting themselves forward. I'm no stranger to working with Tunisia, because you know, we worked together with your government previously. I personally worked with you some years ago, and I'm delighted to be back here again, taking this initiative forward. So without further ado, we have got quite a few questions, and I'm gonna let Declan read out some of these questions, and some of you actually know, I think Workman, you're one of the first questions on this list. So if you just read them out, Declan, and then they can go forward and answer it the best you can.
Sure. So why should buyers be looking for Tunisia for future sourcing? And that's from the NatWest group. And that's to Tarek.
Oui, ben, la réponse me semble évidente suite à ce que vous avez vu. Donc, il y a l'avantage de la proximité, il y a l'avantage de la compétitivité, il y a l'avantage de la réactivité, le savoir-faire, et c'est vraiment plein d'avantages de travailler avec la Tunisie. Et puis, surtout, nous avons des entreprises qui sont très performantes, très qualitatives, un tissu industriel très varié entre des sociétés de taille moyenne, de grande taille, de petite taille, travaillant des petites, des moyennes et des grandes séries. Et l'avantage du Brexit, je pense que ça peut être une opportunité à saisir pour les entreprises britanniques pour venir travailler en Tunisie et profiter de cet accord de libre-échange qui n'est pas le cas avec les autres. Voilà.
Thank you. I think we just go straight into the next one, Declan.
Sure. So Midas Clothing wanted to evaluate the opportunities that they can have in expanding their business to Tunisia through acquisitions or and investments. So we've got this down for FIPA to answer. So if Mr. Gamney can answer that question for Midas, please.
Yes, thank you. We got the question related to the mergers and acquisition, contract manufacturing, business process outsourcing, and so on are also alternative forms of foreign direct investment for UK investment to explore, and we are working to have the right approach for that and to answer to all the requests for British investors they may have. So really all forms are welcome, and we are ready to support them to provide the right information on the business environment, on the investment opportunities, and how to proceed in Tunisia. So we are ready to work together with all our partners in the UK and in Tunisia to provide the right answer and to guide them and also to identify the best partners.
Excellent. Yeah.
And has Brexit affected freight from Tunisia? So we've touched on this with Adam earlier, but so I just want to get some clarity on the freight. So there's no disruption in terms of extra paperwork or tariffs. Can you just go into a bit more detail about that, please?
Declan, can you just repeat that because you're on echo with somebody else?
Right, okay. So we want to ask about how Brexit's going to affect the freight between the UK and Chesnea. Is it going to move freely?
Well, I mean, I think the simple answer to this at the moment is that nothing is moving freely across the UK border. Things will ease up. The association agreement means that it should be, and I stress should, be the same procedures for shipping goods as it used to be. It's the same requirements in terms of rules of origin certification, whether that be an EUR1 or an EU Med certification to prove the origin issue. There is now import and export clearance procedures that you have to go through for any product moving across the UK border, so that's irrespective of where it's coming from. So there will be more documentation to complete, but it is fairly straightforward. And certainly if you're using one of the big logistics carriers, be it a DHL or DPD, or someone like Clipper, they should be able to do that for you. So it should be pretty much the same as before. It will take longer. There are clearance charges which you may not have paid before, but you'll have to pay now. There is definitely a Brexit surcharge, and if the goods are being transshipped through the EU, your courier will almost certainly apply a Brexit surcharge. And as I said before, you just need to be very aware of the implications of import VAT.
Yes, that's going to be troubling to some of the companies that I've already spoken to. Yes, continue, please, Declan.
Sure. So we've got a question here about Tunisia's capability with manufacturing fire suits. So we just want to ask that to Hosni from the Tunisian Textile Federation.
Hello?
Hello. Okay, so what about workmen? Do you have any experience in fire suits or the general industry for the professional clothing industry in Tunisia?
Dans son ensemble, oui, nous on a une petite expérience puisqu'on a fabriqué des combinaisons pour la poste anglaise, le Royal Mail, via un partenaire donc belge. Mais je sais qu'il y a plusieurs entreprises en Tunisie qui sont spécialisées dans tout ce qui est tenue de pompiers, etc. Donc, il y a le savoir-faire en Tunisie et celui qui désire fabriquer ce genre de produits, on peut l'orienter vers des entreprises spécialisées en ces produits-là. Donc, il n'a qu'à contacter la FTTH, la Fédération du Textile Habillement, et on peut l'orienter vers des producteurs fiables pour ce genre de produits.
Okay, thank you. Declan, what I want to say to all of our panelists here today, we have quite a lot of questions. I don't think we're going to be able to answer them all today. What I will say to everyone that has put questions forward to us, we will return to you with answers. We've already started to answer many questions before this webinar, and we'll continue to do so. Please bear with us, I think, you know, that's where we're probably going to leave that today, because there is so much. I think Adam, who we had quite a lot of questions from, he's answered and spoke very eloquently and clearly about what the situation is, which is what we're discussing about origin. Origin is a big problem at the moment for our industry. And I urge the ambassadors and CPEC to look into this very carefully, of how we're going to help all the companies that are interested. I know they're interested already, but I know these are questions about bringing goods from one place to the other. So I would really be very interested in hearing more about what we can do to all these companies who are seriously thinking about doing business with you. And there's we're not going to be able to get around it. So if there's one of the things as well is with the fabrics. I know you mentioned on the call earlier that you buy a lot of fabric from here going to Tunisia, which is great. But I also have been speaking with one of the major suppliers, Carrington, of the problem they're having with the origin. So this is something that I would like to continue after this webinar, and how we're going to make it clear to the industry and all the companies that I know that have been on this call and have emailed me previous to this webinar are interested in. That's where at this point I'm going to sort of leave this today.
Okay.
Anyone has any more questions?
Nefa, you raised your hand. Did you want to say something, Nefa?
Oui, au fait, en complément à ce qu'avait dit Tarek, en réponse transversale par rapport à l'intérêt, je rappelle donc un tissu industriel de tailles diverses, de savoir-faire divers, des gens très spécialisés, comme pour l'histoire de la lutte contre l'incendie et tout. Je rappelle que il y a les possibilités, on a constaté un départ de plein de gens en délocalisation vers l'Extrême-Orient. Tout le monde est en train de retourner pour équilibrer, pour sécuriser leur approvisionnement. Donc, la recherche que font nos partenaires français, allemands, belges, ça doit être une vraie motivation également pour les partenaires, nos partenaires britanniques. Ils vont trouver la flexibilité, ils vont trouver la possibilité de faire des produits intégrés avec la sérigraphie et la personnalisation, et surtout construire une complémentarité et une synergie et partenariat, s'ils sont en recherche de partenariat, c'est-à-dire qu'ils peuvent avoir un ou deux producteurs avec lesquels ils nouent des relations importantes. Et comme nous sommes à la recherche d'un élargissement de la collaboration vers d'autres pays, ça tombe parfaitement dans la ligne de mire. Maintenant, comme a dit tout à l'heure Madame Ashby, les règles d'origine, on doit les éclaircir. Nous avons des tissus britanniques de Royaume-Uni qui vient, il va être exporté en Bretagne, dans l'Union Royaume-Uni, mais également en Europe. Mais nous avons également des tissus européens qui vont être transformés pour être livrés demain vers le Royaume-Uni. Donc, c'est vraiment une priorité. Nous ne voyons pas clair du tout et ça peut être un point crucial pour ouvrir les horizons de collaboration. Voilà, désolé si j'ai pris beaucoup de temps.
Okay, so Yvette, shall I close? Or?
Yes, please. Yes,
okay,
please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just once more, look, thank you for all the audience. Really appreciate you investing your time this morning with us. We really profoundly hope that it was informative and that it is the start of an ongoing dialogue to create better economic ties and partnerships between the UK and Tunisia. To the ambassadors, to the associations, to workmen, and a big thank you to PCIAW, our partners on this. Thank you very much, Yvette and the team. And I have a newfound respect for simultaneous translation. So Simona and Lucille, a really big thank you. You were tested today. So on behalf of everyone, we look forward to hearing from you, to taking these personal discussions forward, and we also look forward to November event, to your event. So thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we will get back to you with all these questions, I promise. Thank you. Thanks, Adam. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Merci à tous.
Merci, يعطيك الصحة.
Merci. Merci,
Au revoir. Au revoir.
إلى اللقاء، بسلامة.